Hello guys, hope you're doing okay. I'm back again with what I think is a bit of a sleeper brand watch. Now what do I mean by sleeper? Well, this brand has actually been around since 2011 and I would say it's one of those watch brands, a micro brand if you will, that is easily maybe forgotten because in the vast array of choice out there, it's the kind of thing that maybe could just go under the radar. And that's why I think I'm helping you out by sharing one of these watches with you. And I've got another one that's going to be a separate review. But the reason why I reached out to Nezumi was because I think it's quite on trend at the moment. Even though they've been around a while, there's a bit of a resurgence, if you will, of vintage inspired watches and watches which have softer palette tones of colour. And that's something which I think is going to draw your attention because it drew mine. And I like to think I know what you guys like, and I'm going to see if I can help you out and let you know if it's any good or not. Bit of a spoiler alert, it's actually very good indeed. I'm going to show you why right now. So yeah, here it is in hand. I've enjoyed this. I've had it a couple of weeks and these are my thoughts from having it for a few weeks. Now, initially I was thinking, yes, is this just another generic looking chronograph watch? What's going to be unique and different about it? Well, that's where I was wrong, sort of being a bit blasé about this watch, because having worn it for a while and enjoyed it, I'd say for your 373 euros with it on its strap, or if you wanted to get it on a lovely Jubilee style bracelet and spend 419 euros, you know, you're kind of getting into the not so affordable category. So it's got to have some kind of unique, sexy appeal to make you maybe splash out a bit. So the good thing is this is a watch which justifies its price by being hand assembled in Germany. It's designed by a man that has a mixed heritage of Swedish and Spanish, a man called David Campo, and obviously he's the brand owner, and he's the man I emailed about getting this watch. I'm not here to give you sort of their life story or anything, but it's just nice to know what you are actually buying into when you get a micro brand watch. And you're getting something which is a passion project, but in the case of Nezumi, it's something that's been around since 2011, so it's not just a flash in the pan thing. They're well established, and again, like I said earlier, I think they are going under the radar. Now, the piece I'm reviewing today is the Tonnerre, which translates as thunder in French, and the reason why I think that's cool, this is where I do my research for this video. The thing that I think is cool about the word thunder is why is it choosing that? That's because the scale on the dial here around the edge is a telemeter. And I was like, what is one of those? And again, I had to go down the rabbit hole of research because that's what I love to do. It's for measuring or estimating distance between the timepiece and an obstacle or audible element. So yes, I tried to memorize all that, but I'm having to refer to my notes because that's really cool. So I'm imagining if you're a bit of a storm chaser and you hear the thunder and you get your timer going, and then when you see the lightning, you press stop, maybe you get the distance. I don't know. Can you tell me some other really cool applications of a telemeter? I'd like to know, but I just think it's nice to not always go down this road of it being a racing chronograph or a pilot watch. Telemeter's cool. Don't know why, but it just is. And the way that that measurement is measured is with the venerable Seiko VK63. Now, it would be nice to maybe have a different type of movement at this price point, but it's a very nice movement. You get a good battery life. You get a nice positive pusher feel. Not quite what I'm used to on this one. It's a bit stiffer than what I've noticed in other watches. Bit of resistance with the feedback, but it's still got that mechanical feel when you press the pushers. And then you can see from the sweep of that lovely pale pastel blue hand going around, it's got a more mechanical look to it. These are the unique selling points which I like, but nothing new or exciting. But when you put it in this package, I think it works at this affordable price point. So like I try and do now, is just I'll put in the description all the key specification points, but sort of the ones that are worth noting now as I speak to you is probably the 38mm case size, just a nice compact size, relatively slim, the dome sapphire with the AR coating on the underside. It's double dome, by the way, so you don't get too much distortion, lovely clarity. Swiss X1 grade lume, which is fantastic. You can see in the B-roll here. It's really, really good indeed. Lovely, good quality application. This has a strap keeping the price down, which is like a mixture of canvas and leather. But a criticism of the straps, the fraying I'm starting to notice already around the keeps here and where it goes to the lugs. But it's actually a very comfortable and good quality strap apart from that fraying going on. But you know what? I love a bracelet. I'll probably splash out if I was to buy one of these myself and get a bracelet because I think it just adds a sporty element. Or I just think it's a bit of a strap monster, put it on a soft tan leather. It's going to help it wear so well in many different applications. And that's where we get to the thing which I think is the most exciting about this watch, and that is the actual design. This is what draws you in and makes you fall in love with it. And the specification is very much, you can get things similar or better for a lot less money from China, for example. The thing that makes this watch stand out for me, which I think is going to excite you, is these vintage pastel tones. You don't just get this colorway, there are others as well. It's just such a beautiful watch, and the thing that I think is really interesting, which makes a good play with the colors, are the subdials. Now we've got the usual cream ticking away subdial for the seconds, but the two which strike the most interest to me, definitely think is cool for you guys, is the often criticised 24-hour subdial. At least they've done something cool with it. It's done a dividing line in the middle, so you've got the AM and PM. Don't see that too often. I think it's a good play with colour and actually gives it a more practical element, so you can see quite clearly when the hand is in the darker blue area, it's basically in the PM. But the thing I think is very good for a quick glance of the eye over to the other side, which is your overall timer. So when you're running the telemeter hand and it's going all the way around, it's a count up. For the subdial at the 9 o'clock, it's got the lovely increments breaking it into chunks of 10 minutes. So that first 10-minute portion's in cream, then it goes to a pale pastel blue, and so on and so forth. I think that's lovely and a very unique play with the colours and the design. It gives it just a bit more interest and difference to all the other kind of chronographs and this type of subdial watches you get out there. So I think that is what gives this that unique, lovely twist of design, which I think is definitely worth your attention. So then you go to the overall package of the watch. The packaging itself is very lovely. I'm not going to bother showing you that because who cares? But the actual case is fully brushed. And one of the things I really love is the actual case back. I think it's got that lovely deep etch design. So when you just take the watch off and have a fiddle with it and have a look over it, beautiful etching on the case back. The fully satinized case is just lovely. It helps soften the look of the watch again with that vintage appeal. And then you've got and it complements the pastel tones as well. There's no bling on here. I know traditionally more vintage watches would have a lot of polish, but I think it's quite clever to have the fully satinized case to complement all the very matte finish of what's going on the dial. All the proportions have been done so beautifully, how everything's positioned and laid out. All of the elements just come together so cohesively. This is someone who knows how to design a watch, and I appreciate that. And that's why I think it's worth spending more and getting something from a micro brand, because they really go to town on that attention to detail when it comes to design. And that's the thing we appreciate, isn't it, right? You're wearing something on your wrist and you look at it all the time. If it's made, okay, but it looks bloody gorgeous, you're going to forgive it for its failings. But this watch is built beautifully. So you've got a bit of best of both, haven't you? So you've got the beautiful finishing, excellent specification, and a design which is its own unique twist, and it's just such a lovely all-round package. So I like to think, when it comes to this Nezumi Tonnerre, I have found a lovely watch from a stealth brand, a bit of a hidden gem amongst the micro brands, which I think you should definitely have on your radar and consider buying one of these. This is not remotely sponsored, this video. I'm literally borrowing these watches and then sending them on to someone else. And I'd like to see if I can find these little gems out there and get you interested as much as I am. And this is on my radar. If I was in the market for a vintage style watch with these pastel tones, with the just all round great fit, finish, design, you name it, I'd recommend a Nezumi.